Audio test. Okay, we appear to be good. Hello everyone, this is Gun the Mace, aka John Hooper, and I'm here with my streaming of Secret Game Killer Queen. Before we start, I just want to make a note for people watching the stream now that there's currently a hurricane near where I'm living, so there's a possibility that the power might go out at some point, and as a result the stream will shut off. If that happens, I'll cancel the stream, and depending on how much footage I record, I might have to just redo the whole stream. We'll have to see. But yeah, so just be prepared for the possibility that the stream will go out. Okay, now with that out of the way, last time Soichi, Sakumi, and Yuki, who have been separated from the rest of the team, kept going down as the armed men kept pursuing them, and they took a break eventually, where they had a little chat where they discussed some stuff like Yuki's lonely home situation. And after a night of resting, they moved onwards, only to find out that one of the armed men had been killed, apparently on the way to ambush them while they were resting. And then Fumika showed up, and that's where we left off, so I'm just gonna pick up from there.
宗一くん、さくみちゃん、やっと見つけた。
Soichi, Sakumi, I finally found you guys. Group's expressions changed. The group's hardened expressions changed when they heard that voice echoing down the hallway. Fumika? Although it was a bit unexpected to hear her voice at this point, it was clearly a welcome charm event for the three of them.
ふみかさんだ。
It's Fumika. Even amongst them, the relief on Yuki's face was plain. With a smile on her face, she ran towards Fumika, who was heading their way.
ゆうきちゃんも無事ね。
I'm glad you're safe too, Yuki. You too. Yuki and Fumika then embraced each other and stopped there. Soichi had been a bit tense since finding the mysterious man's corpse. But that tension relieved a little when he saw one of his companions.
ご苦労様です、みつるぎさん。
Thanks for all your effort, Mitsurugi. Picking up on the subtle change in Soichi's change in expression, Sakumi nodded with a gentle face. Relief also strew across her face. Thanks. Same to you, Sakumi. Right?
はい。
Yes. So the two of them smiled at each other when Yuki called out to them.
何やってるの、二人とも。早くおいでよ。
What are you guys doing? Come on, hurry up, over here.
なに？あの二人、怪しい関係になったの？
What's this? Those two have some sort of intimate relationship?
うん。
Yep. Yuki and Fumika were having fun talking about something or another. Ready to go?
はい。
Yes. Soichi and Sakumi smiled again and approached their other two companions. Fumika's clothes were a bit dirtier than the last time they'd seen her. On top of that, she had several scrapes and cuts. It seemed they had trouble on their end as well.
よかったわ。みんな元気そうで。
I'm glad to see you're all doing well. I'm just glad you're safe, too. That matters most.
ありがとう宗一くん。
Thank you, Soichi. Fumika smiled and nodded.
お兄ちゃんが頑張ったの。
Big bro tried real hard.
そう、よかったわね。
I see, isn't that great?
うん。
Yep.
それでふみかさん、残りの皆さんはご無事なんでしょうか。
So tell us, Fumika, are the others okay as well? Sakumi rustled Yuki's hair and then asked this. Hold on a second. Fumika also continued rustling Yuki's hair as she looked at Sakumi and Soichi.
ええ、無事よ。だから私は心配してこっちに来たの。
Yes, they're alright. That's why I got worried and came on ahead to you guys. What do you mean?
実はね、宗一くん。
Well, you see, Soichi. Fumika's smile faded.
例の連中、私たちの方には来なかったのよ。
Those guys didn't chase after us. Huh? Soichi was a bit surprised. But he understood when he quickly remembered how the armed group had been chasing them.
だからみんな無事よ。
So they're all safe.
そうですか。
I see.
よかった。
Thank goodness. Sakumi smiled and breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that. She really had been worried about their comrades all this time. And so you went our way?
ええ、そうよ。私たちの方に来なかったってことは、連中は宗一くんたちの方に行ったってことでしょ。
Yes, that's right. The fact they didn't come after us meant they must have come after you, right? Yes, that's true.
だから通路を戻って、私だけこっちに来たのよ。
So I went back down the hallway and came over here myself. Fumika explained everything and one after another. So each group had assumed that the armed group had gone to chase after the others, the other five in Fumika's group, but it seemed that wasn't the case in the end. And so concerned about Soichi and the others' safety, they decided to send one of the adults in their group over. Fumika accepted that duty. Karin and Naisa were assisting Reika. While Hazuki was on guard duty. There was no one hanging their way apart from Fumika.
道順は別れる前に宗一くんから聞いていたから、それに沿って探しながら来たってわけ。
Hold on a second. I heard about the route you were going to take from you before we split up, so I followed that while I was searching for you. Thanks a bunch. We were having trouble handling this on our own.
あの死体のことね。
You mean that body, huh? Fumika glanced behind Soichi's group with a stern expression. The man's corpse was lying there. Yes.
その辺は道々話しましょう。ともかく葉月のおじさまたちと合流しなくちゃ。 案内するからついてきて。
We'll talk about that along the way. Anyway, let's go. We need to regroup with Mr. Hazuki and the others. I'll lead you the way. I'll lead you there, so follow me. Fumika's gaze wandered ahead down the hallway. The rendezvous point of Hazuki and the others was still a while off. They didn't have time to be standing around. Got it. Now's not the time to be rejoicing.
終わったら一晩飲み明かしましょう。
Let's drink the night away once this is all over. Sounds nice. I'd go along with that.
あんなこと言ってるよ、さくみお姉ちゃん。
You hearing this, big sis Sakumi?
みつるぎさんは口だけですから大丈夫ですよ。
It's alright. Mitsurugi's all talk anyway.
なあに宗一くん、結局尻に敷かれてるわけ？
What's this, Soichi? You getting whipped? And so the four of them regained some of their cheer as they proceeded valiantly down the hallways. At the same time, Tezuka and Takayama had gone to the 5th floor. We're watching over the armed group from a distance down the hallway.
また我々のことは無視か。どうやらこちらから手を出さなければ襲ってくる気はないようだな。目的はあくまであの8人か。
They're ignoring us again, huh? It seems that they don't intend on attacking us as long as we don't attack them. Which means their goal just solely lies with those 8, huh?
だがどうしてちんたらちんたらやってやがるんだ。奴らならもっと簡単にあの連中を始末していてもおかしくはないはずだ。
Why are they taking things so easy? They should be able to easily wipe out those others if they wanted to. It wasn't like the armed group hadn't noticed Tezuka and Takayama. They just weren't trying to. They just didn't try to attack them. In an outright fight, it was clear that they would defeat Tezuka and Takayama.
こいつはひょっとすると。
Perhaps they're.
何か分かったのか、手塚。
Did you figure something out, Tezuka?
まあな。これまでの奴らの行動や今の状況からするとなんとなくだがな。
Yeah, kinda. Just the sort of hunch I got, judging from their actions up to this point in the current situation, though. Tezuka, grinned. He then regained his usual. He was regaining his usual composure. Takayama was intrigued by Tezuka's current state.
教えてくれ、手塚。
Tell me, Tezuka.
教えたら俺と組むかい？
You gonna team up with me if I tell you? Tezuka fired back in a teasing tone. But Takayama wasn't phased.
もう組んでいるだろう。
I thought we already were teamed up.
そういう意味じゃねえよ。本気で俺と組んで何かをしでかさないかって話さ。
1 second. Alright, well, I just want to inform you guys that because of the aforementioned hurricane, you may occasionally hear strong winds or rain in the background. If you do, I'm sorry for that. Alright, back. I didn't mean in that way. I mean teaming up with me for real and not messing anything up. So let's go then, raise his hands over exaggeratedly.
話の内容次第だ。
That depends on what you. That depends on the topic. No, that depends on what you say.
相変わらずしっかりしてること。
So yours is much of a hard ass as ever. Tezuka gave an intentional sigh and started talking.
奴らは俺たちを狙う様子はない。なぜあの連中だけを追っていくのか。あんたが聞きたい話ってのはこれでいいんだよな。
Those guys show no signs going after us. Why is it that they're only going after them? That's what you want to ask, isn't it?
そうだ。
That's right. Takayama nodded.
まず一つ。あいつらは少なくともこのゲームとやらの参加者じゃない。
First things first. At the very least, those guys aren't participants at this game or whatever.
おそらくそうなんだろうな。
Yes, that's most likely the case. Takayama understood that as well.
俺たちのこれまで出会った人間の数に奴らを加えると明らかに13人を超えてしまう。ルール違反だな。
When you add their numbers up to combined with the current number of people we've seen up to this point, it easily surpasses 13. It's violating the rules.
上出来だよ、高山さん。
Perfect, Takayama. Tezuka clapped as though he were praising a child. Most adults would look annoyed by that, but Takayama's face didn't change at all.
だがあれはこのゲームを運営している連中であることは間違いない。
But there's no doubt that they're in cahoots with the people behind this game.
なぜだ。
Why's that?
でなきゃこんな長い間ここででかい顔はできやしねえだろ。
Because if they weren't, there's no way they'd be allowed to stay around here for this long, right?
そうだな。
That's true. It had already been over half a day since these men had first appeared in the building. If this was interference from those outside the game, they should have been purged by now.
ってことはだ。 奴らの目的は殺しじゃないはずなんだ。
Which means that their objective shouldn't be to kill.
そうだな。殺すならとっくにやっているだろう。ここに閉じ込める前に。
That's true. If they were gonna kill us, they would have done it long ago, before we were trapped here.
その答えでは減点だよ、さ。
You lose points for that answer, old man. Tezuka started laughing. Takayama's face changed for the first time. It was a twinge of surprise.
俺も最初はそう思ってたんだ。だがそれは違うんだな。
I thought so at first too, but that's wrong. Tezuka was enjoying himself when he knows Takayama's face change.
問題はこれを見ている連中がいるってことさ。
Problem is that there are people who are watching this.
見ている連中だと。
People watching this? Takayama hadn't expected to hear that. Naturally, his surprise deepened. Satisfied with that, Tezuka waved his hand as he continued explaining.
ああ、俺たちをここに閉じ込めている連中の動機を考えてみたのさ。
Yeah, I'm doing some thinking about what the motive is behind from those guys who trapped us here.
俺やあんた、あのガキども、どう考えても接点はない。だから怨恨の線はない。
No matter how you spin it, you and I and those brats don't have anything in common. So I'd rule out any sort of grudge theory.
俺を誘拐している以上、金銭目的もない。すると残りは誘拐犯だな。
And they wouldn't have grabbed me for something like ransom, which only leaves the possibility of a crime done for pleasure.
誘拐犯
For pleasure?
ああ、そうさ。奴らはバカみたいに大掛かりな誘拐犯なのさ。
Yeah, that's right. Those bastards are getting a laugh out of this crime of theirs, like dumbasses. Tezuka spread his hands further in greater amusement.
想像もつかん誘拐犯とは。
Crime done out of pleasure? I can't imagine that.
だがそう考えると辻褄が合う。そもそもこの首輪やルールがそうだ。こんなことをして何の意味があるんだ？手間がかかるばかりで効率が悪すぎる。
But it adds up. Well, if you think of it that way, it all adds up. In the first place, it explains the collars and the rules. What other reason could there be for this? It's highly ineffective and will have taken too much time and effort. Tezuka continued speaking like a teacher explaining to a student with poor grades.
これに意味があるとするなら、これをすること自体が目的の場合だけだ。まったく、俺と趣味が合いそうな連中だぜ。
If there's meaning in us doing this, and that means the act of us doing this in itself can be the only objective. Sheesh, these guys are right up my alley. Tezuka chuckled.
ということはあの兵隊たちもその用途の一部だと。
Which means those soldiers served to that purpose as well?
ああ、だがそれでもイレギュラーの確率は高いんだろうな。
Yeah, but even so, there's a high possibility that they're an irregular.
そうだな。もしこれが普段通りのやり方なら全く俺たちを狙ってこないのはおかしい。これがゲームである以上はプレイヤー同士を平等に扱うはずだ。
It's true. If this was how they normally handled things, then it's strange that they aren't. Then it'd be strange that they aren't targeting us. As long as it's a game, the players should all get equal treatment. Hold on a second. might have been a different story if they were attacking all players indiscriminately. But only attacking specific players didn't make for a fair game at all.
それになぜこそこそとする必要がある。奴らは主催者の側の人間のはずなのに。
Furthermore, why are they acting so secretively? If they're with the managers, they're the managers, so they shouldn't have any need for that.
高山さん、問題はそこなのさ。
You see, Takayama, that's where the problem lies.
つまりはこういうことさ。奴らはゲームの枠を破ってでも隠密裏にあの8人にちょっかいを出さざるを得なくなったってね。
See, in other words, it's like this. Those bastards, need to handle those 8 secret, have no choice but to handle those 8 secret, even if it means breaking the boundaries of the game.
だが手塚、俺にはそこが一番わからない。そんなことをして何の意味がある。相手はこのゲームの主催者なんだぞ。
You see, Tezuka, that's the thing I don't get the most. What purpose is there in any of that? Aren't they with the people behind this game? Takayama gave the most agitated face he'd had so far. He was that hung up on that point of Tezuka's story, and he had the same question, and he was bothered by that question as much as well. Tezuka stared at Takayama for a while, then spoke his conclusion.
これをやっている連中と見ている連中が別だったらそういうこともあるんだろうよ。
And that's up if you can, if the people doing this and the people watching this are different.
待て手塚。
Wait, Tezuka. Takayama's eyes widened.
これがショーだと。
Are you saying this is a show?
愉快犯だって言ったはずだぜ。
I did say this was a crime done for pleasure, didn't I? Takayama gave a surprised look like none he would ever normally give. Tezuka felt very proud of himself when he saw that.
そうだったな。では、彼らが襲われる理由は何だ。
It's true. Then what's the reason they're attacking them?
情報が足りない。はっきりとしたことは言えないが。
I don't have enough information. I can't say anything for sure, but
何か心当たりでもあるのか。
do you have an idea or something?
まだ。例の戦闘禁止エリアでの件さ。その理由と奴らの攻撃が散発的である理由が同じであるとしたらどうだい？
Kinda. Remember what happened back in the non-combat area? If the reason for that... What if the reason for that and the reason why their attacks are sporadic are one and the same?
まさか。だが、それなら確かに辻褄は合う。
You don't mean... Well, if that's true, it adds up.
おっさん、俺は最初にそう言ったぜ。
Didn't I say that from the start, old man? Tezuka laughed. It was a look of I told you so.
こいつはもしかしたらどえらいジョーカーが潜んでいるのかもしれねえな。
Might have one hell of a joker slipped in amongst them for all we know.
バカみたいに首輪にこだわってないで立ち回り方を考えておくべきかもしれないぜ。
The not they're ridiculously non-stickler about the collars. Maybe they're only thinking about how they should go act. Tezuka continued laughing. Tezuka took a deep breath when he saw Takayama took a deep breath when he saw Tezuka like that. Takayama then started smiling a little.
末恐ろしい男だな、お前は。
You are one ominous man. It was a rare show of praise from Takayama to others. Takayama then continued smiling as he lit a cigarette.
あんたとなら組んでもいいぜ。俺とあんたならきっと天下が取れる。
Alright, you and I should team up for real. If we're together, we could take on the whole world. Tezuka also lit his own cigarette. They'd gotten the cigarettes in later from one of the enemies they defeated on the 4th floor.
ゲームに勝ったら考えよう。
I'll think about it if we win the game.
だな。うまい酒かっくらって自慢話しながらの方があんたもいい返事をくれるだろうぜ。
You're right. Drinking good booze and you're more likely to give a good answer over a good cup of booze as we brag about each other, ourselves to each other. Tezuka then blew a satisfied puff of smoke. On their way to regroup with their comrades, Tezuka told the others what happened after they split up. And so Yuki found that man's corpse. And then we met you and you know the rest.
そう、大変だったわね。
I see. Sounds like you had it rough. After they'd split up from Hazuki and the others, Soichi's group had been pursued by that armed group. They disappeared right around the time when the group was battered and exhausted. Thanks to that, Soichi's group was able to get some rest. But once morning came, they set out. They quickly found a man from the armed group's corpse. Soichi explained all that honestly to Fumika.
あの男の人は誰かと戦っていたようなんですけど。
It seemed like that man got in a fight with someone. Sakumi added to Soichi's story.
それについては私に。
About that, Fumika was about to say something but stopped herself. She then looked around with a serious look on her face. Fumika? Soichi was confused by her reaction. but Fumika placed her right index finger to her lips, and telling them to be quiet. Fumika had picked up on someone's presence. What's going on? Is it them? Soichi immediately remembered the armed group.
ここにいて。
Come here. No, sorry, they're here. Fumika strained her ears as she spoke as quietly as she could. What if it's them, then?
いいから。
Just do as I say. Fumika held her hand out to stop Soichi and crouched down as she approached the crossroads up ahead. There was about 20 meters between them and the corner. Fumika? Soichi was worried about letting her go alone. But she'd been so oddly persuasive that he couldn't move.
お兄ちゃん
Big bro. Soichi went over to... Yuki went over to Soichi and took his hand, perhaps because she was also nervous. And as the group watched Fumika, she drew a pistol out from her waist. It was an automatic pistol that shone with a black luster. Soichi didn't know what it was called, but Fumika handled it easily and swiftly like a pro. She then placed her back to the right side corner of the crossroads. When Fumika strained her ears, she heard the sounds of a large number of people walking. Fumika carefully peeked down the hallway. Here. Okay, there's a sprite here, so let's just go back to take a full look at it. Okay. There she saw the armed group in question. They were still several dozen meters away. From what you could see, there were 5 of them. But it seemed there were even more behind. Once Fumika confirmed that, she quickly drew her face back. Fortunately, they hadn't noticed Fumika and kept walking down their usual pace. Fumika put her back to the wall again and counted off in her mind. She was calculating the distance between her and the men.
ふみかさん何をなさっているんでしょう
What do you think Fumika's doing? Sakumi was confused by Fumika's actions. She showed no signs of being on watch, nor did she show any signs of returning their way either.
私たちも行ってみようか
Maybe we should go ourselves? No, Yuki. Fumika told us to stay here. But the moment Soichi said that, Fumika suddenly raised her head and started moving. Fumika's actions continued in between the time it took for Sakumi's surprised gasp to fade. First strike! Fumika reached into the pocket of her receptionist uniform and pulled out a dark green metallic lump the size of a tennis ball. Shin peeked out from the hallway and threw it towards the armed men. They rolled down the hallway towards the men and stopped just a few meters away from them. We're under attack! All hands, fall back! No, get down! The men started shouting. Their shouts reached Soichi and the others' ears as well. What's going on? What did Fumika throw, big bro? The answer came quicker than Soichi could speak it. An explosion. And there was a large tremor that shook the building. At the same time, a pillar of fire passed through the crossroads. It was so close that it nearly burned Fumika. What all Soichi and the others saw was a flash of light that covered the whole hallway. The pillar of fire passed through the crossroads when they were shutting their eyes. A grenade? Soichi was surprised while Fumika acted again. Shin took something that looked like a juice can out of her pocket and threw it down the hallway again. This time she had thrown not a hand grenade, but a smoke grenade. Smoke remained from the previous hand grenade she'd thrown earlier. And so the men didn't notice Fumika throwing this one. And even if people did, the men were on the floor right now, so they couldn't have done anything about it anyway. The smoke grenade burst around the area where the men were. At that moment, vast amounts of smoke flooded the narrow hallway. Where are they? Where's the enemy? Captain! Captain! My leg! My leg! The men hastily fall onto the floor in order to evade the hand grenade. And now that their vision was completely blocked off, they had no idea where the attack was coming from. On top of that, they didn't know how many enemies they were facing, nor how they were armed. They were taking all they could to look for to grope for a way out. I did think they didn't have much training. Fumika, now equipped with a thick, black infrared scope, muttered to herself as she pulled her trigger in the direction of the smoke. For pros, they sure rely on their sensors too much. I never even considered that I had a jammer. Fumika easily shot down the men. The men were so confused and since the hallways, they couldn't see in the hallway covered with smoke, it seemed they were even starting to shoot each other.
こんなもんかな
Let's do it. Fumika stopped firing when she took down the third. I took out one with the first grenade, and three with my gun. How many are still in fighting shape? If I push them any further, they'll engage us. If she killed them all, then they couldn't retreat. So she merely injured them and let them go. Yeah, sorry about earlier. I said she took them out, but I just mean like, apparently it was a non-lethally. If she did that, then her opponents would need to. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry, let's do this again. If she did that, her opponents need to cut down on the numbers in order to bring the injured back. It'd be easier for Fumika and Soichi's group to take out the rest of them.
よし
To deal with them, sorry. All good. Starting to wrap this up quickly, Fumika threw another smoke grenade. She flipped up the infrared scope and shouted at Soichi and the others.
行くわよ3人とも今のうちにここを抜けるわ
Let's go, guys. We're getting out of here now. Fumika stood up when the smoke grenade burst. Fumika? However, Soichi couldn't move. What? What's going on? Who in the world is she? Soichi's mind was wrapped up in questions. Her skilled handling of her fighting skills did not appear to be that of a normal receptionist, no matter how you spun it. Confused by her and the explosions that she caused, Soichi just stood still as a statue, frozen in shock. Big sis. Sakumi and Yuki were also holding each other and trembling.
急いでそう何度もできる不意打ちじゃないのよしっかりしなさい3人ともここで奴らに殺されたいの
Hurry! I won't get many more chances for surprise attacks. Get a hold of yourself, guys. Do you want them to kill you? But Soichi came back to his senses at Fumika's second shout. There's no time to hesitate. Sakumi, Yuki, let's go. Soichi took their hands and dragged them as they started running. thanks to that, the two of them finally came back to their senses and started running on their own.
急いでみんな。煙が消えたらあいつらが追ってくるわ。その前に。
Hurry, guys. They'll attack once the smoke dissipates. We have to get out of there before. We have to get out of here before then. Once they got to the corner, Fumika started leading them. She's amazing. When they passed by the crossroads, Soichi looked on the right side hallway for a moment. It was full of a white smoke they couldn't see through. There were burnt, on top of there being burn marks on the walls. Soichi could see the legs of men lying on the ground. Fumika, just what are you?
それについては後で説明するわ。この近くに身を隠すにはいい場所があるの。とりあえずそこまで黙ってついてきてほしいの。
I'll explain later. There's a good place to hide around here. Just keep quiet and follow me until then. Fumika was sounding serious. Her usual playful manner was nowhere to be found. Could this be the real Fumika? There were her fighting skills to take into account. And her serious gaze. The Fumika there was a completely different person from the Fumika Rikishima Soichi knew so well. Fumika led Soichi and the others to a small storeroom that was quite a detour away from the shortest route to the rendezvous point. The stern look on Fumika's face hadn't faded the whole time, but once she got in there, her face relaxed a little.
ここまで来ればもう大丈夫よ。この部屋は安全だから。
We'll be fine now we've come this far. This room is safe. Fumika told them that in a gentle voice to assuage the panting Soichi, Sakumi, and Yuki. Soichi raised his head when he heard that, but Sakumi and Yuki just remained staying in place as they couldn't move. Safe? Fumika had said this place was safe, but Soichi couldn't be reassured by that so quickly. How are you so sure of that?
見て、宗一くん。
Look there, Soichi. Fumika smiled and pointed to a surveillance camera in the corner of the room.
あのカメラ、実はちゃんと機能してないの。同じ映像をループして流すように細工がしてあるわ。
That camera isn't actually working. It's been tampered to show a loop with the same visuals.
カメラ以外にも、この部屋を監視している装置はすべて潰してあるの。だからしばらくは安全よ。
All our listening and observation devices in this room have also... all our listening and surveillance devices in this room have also been destroyed, so we'll be safe for a while. Tempered? When did you have time to do that? Soichi couldn't believe it. It seemed next to impossible to tamper the room like this without attracting enemies. She shouldn't have had that much time.
もちろん私にはそんな暇はなかったわよ。これをやったのは私の仲間。
I didn't, of course. It was my comrades who did this. Comrades?
そうよ。この部屋に細工をしたのもそうだし、さっき不意打ちできたのもそう。
Yes. They're the ones who tampered with the room and what made that surprise attack possible.
そしてここまで逃げてくる間、 奴らの目をごまかしたのもそう。
And even pulling the wool over the bastard's eyes while I've been running here.
この建物にはゲームの仕掛け以外に私たちの作った仕掛けもあるのよ。
In addition to the devices set up here for this game, we set up some devices of our own. Sakumi and Yuki looked up at Fumika's words. Then, who in the world are you, Fumika? Soichi's voice wasn't fragmented only because he was panting from running. It's because he was so surprised by Fumika's story.
私はテロリストよ。
I'm a terrorist. Soichi was even more shocked by her answer. He was so shocked that his heart pounded like a jackhammer. Did you say a terrorist? It was difficult to believe. Soichi couldn't connect the woman in front of him with the word terrorist. Terrorists? Like the terrorists who do hijacking and suicide bombings?
対テロ戦闘用組織テロリズム。その英語の頭文字の A から取って、私たちはエースと呼ばれているわ。
Anti-terrorism, combat, organized terrorism. From the A in that term, we call ourselves ACE. ACE.
そうよ、宗一君。私たちはテロと戦うテロ組織なの。
That's right, Soichi. We're a terrorist group who fights terrorists. Fumika said that with a wide smile. The anti-terrorist combat organized terrorism group known as ACE. Their founder had resolved himself to fight about 30 years ago. The game already existed back then. ACE was started by someone who'd lost their family to the game. But the game and organization had the government and police in their pockets since the days but the game and the organization had the government and police in their pockets since before the days of the war. The reason the game had never come to light so far wasn't because no one knew about it. They were well aware of it. They just let it be, that was all. In order to protect themselves and their families, or simply because they were members of the organization already. Thus, it was difficult to pick a fight with the organization. To do battle with them would require the resolve to make everyone your enemy. Even so, they gathered comrades little by little, and their numbers gradually increased. They've been betrayed or risked annihilation many times, yet they managed to overcome those trials at every turn. And then ACE began acting as a militant group about 10 years ago. Around then, they managed to illegally acquire the help of several nations. The game's victims weren't only in Japan. Then 10 more years passed. After staying in hiding and preparing for so long, they finally began to act.
身分証でもあればいいんだけど、こんな場所には持ち込めないし。
I'd show you ID if I could, but I couldn't exactly bring that into this place.
ごめんなさいね。こんなことを言われても、なかなか信じられないでしょ。
I'm sorry. It's a hard story to swallow, isn't it? No. I may have been surprised when you said you were a terrorist, but now I think about it calmly, it makes sense. It makes more sense that way.
信じてくれるの？
You believe me? Fumika seemed a bit surprised. Yes. As he heard Fumika's story, Soichi calmed down, determined that. From how she fought the armed men, It was clear that Fumika was their enemy. On top of that, hold on a second. So, and on top of that, the idea that she was a secret agent who received, she was a soldier and a secret agent who infiltrated this place and received proper training from somewhere was much more believable to Soichi than the idea that she was a mere receptionist who just happened to have exceptional battle skills for no reason. If Fumika wasn't a member of some group, and that meant that she'd done all that fighting on her own with no help. Which would have made her an ordinary Amiga receptionist who had exceptional battle skills despite having received no training. That was just way too unrealistic. Besides, oh, hold on a second. Besides, compared to an immoral game run by a secret society of criminals, a spy from an illegal police group is far more realistic. Soichi was surprised by usage of the word terrorists, but he felt it wasn't unreasonable when you consider that they were up against an enemy who had the government and police in their pockets. Soichi considered Ace to be like police who didn't call themselves police.
さくみお姉ちゃん、ふみかさん女スパイなんだって。かっこいいね。
You hear that, big sis Sakumi? Fumika's a lady spy. Isn't that cool?
ゆうきちゃん、スパイなんてそんなに簡単なことじゃないんですよ。
Yuki, it's not something as simple as a spy.
そっちの二人も信じてくれるの？
You two believe me as well? When she heard that, Sakumi looked from Soichi to Fumika and nodded.
はい、みつるぎさんが信じるなら、私もそれを信じます。それに、確かにその方が自然だと思いますし。
Yes, if Mitsurugi believes you, then I believe you. Besides, it does seem to make more sense that way.
そうだよ、ふみかさん。女スパイかっこいいじゃない。
That's right, Fumika. Lady spies are so cool. It seemed Yuki had an interest in spies, as her eyes gleamed as she looked at Fumika and nodded over and over again.
そっか。ありがとうみんな。
I see. Thanks, guys. Fumika gave a small smile and bowed her head. So for what reason did you come here?
それはね、宗一君。今私たちを守っているような仕掛けをもっとたくさん増やすためだったの。
Well, you see, Soichi, I was here to plant more of those devices like the ones that protected us just now. Plant more devices?
ええ。私たちの仲間は組織に逆に潜入しているの。
Yes, our comrades have infiltrated the organization.
そんな彼らの手引きで時折、私のように身分を偽ってゲームに潜入するの。そしていろいろ細工をしていくわけ。
They use their pull from time to time to send people and their false identities into the game, just like me. Those people run a bunch of espionage and sabotage work while they're at it. Fumika looked around the room as she explained that.
一度にゲームに持ち込めるものの数なんてたかが知れてる。
The number of times they managed to sneak someone into the game is extremely few, though.
この部屋に限っても 一回の潜入で何とかできるようなことではないわ。私たちはこんなことを何年も繰り返して準備を進めてきたの。
Even this room's setup wasn't accomplished over the course of a single infiltration. It took us years of repeated infiltrations to get the ball rolling. I see. So it's not easy to avoid catching the eye of the enemy, the organization. Soichi understood that Fumika's group, Fumika and her comrades, had been making preparations to battle over a period of time.
ふみかさん、一つよろしいでしょうか。
Fumika, can I ask you something?
何、さくみちゃん。
What is it, Sakumi?
ふみかさんのことは分かりましたけど、そもそもこの建物、そしてゲームって何なんですか？
I understand you, but what's the deal with this building in this game?
ああ、そうだったそうだった。ごめんなさい。それも話す必要があったわね。
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I guess I'll need to explain that too. Then Fumika began explaining again. The organization was established hundreds of years ago, before the era of westernization. Initially, they managed gambling, and over time created a new form of gambling and selling fights between people. At first, it was merely betting on street fights, but their scope grew with the expansion of their gambling dens, and evolved into a battle royale between several people locked in one room. On top of that, their customers speculate on who would survive. The bets grew more complex, and they transitioned to a system that would yield high investments. And as the scale grew, the customers started demanding more radical situations. In response, the organization began demanding the participants battle to the death like the gladiators of ancient Rome. Eventually, as the times changed, it became more and more of a show. The stage became a large building, and numerous devices were supplied, beginning with the PDAs and collars. They also established the representation system, the special system for representation known as the Game Master, in order to show more dramatic turns of events. The customers went crazy for it. Hold on a second. Alright, eventually, many celebrities started attending the casino and started betting throwing astronomical amounts of money all around. And as a result, the game evolved even further. And thus the game was completed. Hold on a second. Alright, and thus the game is completed, and the organization took in many customers, cementing their own position. A show? This is all a show for people to bail on in the casino? This was the greatest surprise Soichi had heard so far this day. Soichi vaguely understood that this was an organized crime. No matter how you spun it, it wasn't something only a few people could carry out. But even so, the idea that this was all a show went beyond Soichi's imagination.
そうよ。そのためにこの建物は作られた。そしてそのために宗一君たちは誘拐されてここへ閉じ込められている。すべてはカジノの客を満足させるためなのよ。
That's right. It was for that reason this building was built. And it was for that reason why you were all grabbed and trapped here. All in order to satisfy the customers of the casino. No way! Soichi felt chill down his spine. They made people kill each other and bet on it. It was terrifying to imagine something like that was really actually going on in reality. But at the same time, it all did add up. It answered many of the Fumika's explanation. It answered many of the questions Soichi had had. Such as the construction of this ridiculous, absurdly large building, the collars and the PDAs, the mysterious rules, and the extra game. From the participants' point of view, it was indeed pointless, but it was a different story when we considered it from the customer's point of view, the viewer's point of view. So they're toying with us? At that moment, Soichi realized something even more terrifying. His eyes turned to Sakumi. Much like Soichi, Sakumi was also extremely shocked. That was why her face had gone pale and why she was sending a pleading look to Soichi for help. And could it be that the reason I need to kill Sakumi in order to remove my collar is...
その通りよ、宗一君。宗一君とさくみちゃんが出会ったのもショーを盛り上げる演出の一つよ。
That's right, Soichi. Your meeting with Sakumi was just was all planned to make the show more exciting. Fumika was well informed that due to having received that, due to having that information leaked to her ahead of time. Huh? Sakumi's gaze switched from Soichi to Fumika.
それはどういうことなんですか？
What do you mean by that?
組織の連中はね、宗一君に死んだ恋人とそっくりのさくみちゃんを殺させたいのよ。ショーを盛り上げる演出のために。
You see, the people running the organization, wanted to make Soichi kill you since you're the spitting image of his dead girlfriend, all in order to make the show more exciting.
まったく、ヘドが出るわ。
Makes me want to puke. Sakumi's mind went blank at the same time Fumika spat out those words. At the same time, her body was assaulted by intense shaking that made her feel like the earth beneath her was going to crumble out. Sakumi couldn't keep standing from that intense shock. But it wasn't the but she wasn't shocked because she'd learned that she was made Soichi's target all as part of the show. Dead? Mitsurugi's girlfriend is dead? Sakumi flopped to the ground. Wait, hold on a second. I think I misread that. Sorry, 1 second. Alright, sorry, back. Sakumi sunk to the floor. Strength left her knees. And if she didn't keep her body propped up with her hands, she would have fallen any second.
さくみお姉ちゃん、大丈夫？
Are you okay, big sis Sakumi? Yuki ran over to her in concern. But Sakumi was so shocked that she didn't even notice her. That's right. That's why Mitsurugi was so hung up on his promise. Because that's all he had left. Because he had nowhere way to feel his bond with her other than that promise. Other than keeping that promise. Sakumi knew that Soichi didn't love her. She also heard about the promises he made. But she didn't think but she didn't think it was this serious. That's why you won't look at me. In the end, all I am is a replacement for your dead girlfriend. She had never considered that she held no value to Soichi whatsoever. Sakumi's tears plopped to the floor, leaving a small ring behind. It didn't just stop there. More drops fell onto the floor, one after another.
さくみお姉ちゃん。
Big sis Sakumi. Yuki called out in concern to the crying Sakumi. Sakumi then finally realized that Yuki was in front of her and embraced her with all her might. What's wrong, big sis? Sakumi continued sobbing. Yuki, locked in Sakumi's embrace, was totally lost. Meanwhile, Soichi was in no state of mind to be paying any attention to Sakumi's sobs. This game was a show, and people were betting on who would live. He was greatly shocked by that. And Fumika, you guys are working to to destroy this messed up show?
そうよ。私たちはそのために存在している。
Yes, that's why we exist. Then why are you helping us? You gain nothing from helping us. All we're doing is getting in the way of your mission, right? Soichi considered Fumika an ally up to this point. Once he learned of the organization Fumika's standing, Soichi could no longer tell if Fumika was their ally or not for real. By helping them, she was putting her own position at risk. And it was the reason why her identity was starting to might slip out. And if it did, then that'd put all the preparations they made up to this that'd make all the preparations they made for the upcoming battle in grave danger.
確かにそうね。この任務は正体が発覚しないことが最優先よ。
You're not wrong. Keeping my mission from coming out is my top priority.
そのためになら作業を進めるのを諦めたり、他の参加者を見殺しにすることが許されているわ。
It's for that reason why I'm allowed to give up on progressing with my missions and letting the other participants just die. Then why?
事情が変わったのよ。戦いを始めるのはずっと先のはずだったのに。我々は今すぐに勝負に出なければならなくなった。
Because the situation's changed. Our fight wasn't supposed to be until a long time off. But now we have no choice but to settle this right once and for all right now.
だから宗一君、あなたたちに協力してほしいの。
So I want your help. Fumika stared at Soichi with a serious glare. Serious glance. You could detect no hesitation in her composed voice. Soichi felt she wasn't lying, but his questions only increased. Help you out? What are you talking about?
始まりはタカ派の派閥の暴走からだったわ。
It started when the Hardliner faction began raising hell. Fumika started quietly talking as she leaned against a box. Hardliner faction?
ええ、私たちも一枚岩ではないの。
Yeah, we don't all see eye to eye.
エースを主導しているのは私の所属する穏健派だったのだけれど、強硬路線を主張する人間も多いわ。
Ace is led by the Moderates faction, which I'm a part of, but there are many demanding we take more extreme measures.
私たちは関係者を組織に殺されている場合が多いから、そうなってしまうのは仕方のないことなんだけど。
Though many of us have lost loved ones to the organization, so it's only to be expected. Fumika's face wore bitterly when she said that.
彼らは私たちの計画する最終作戦を待ちきれなかった。だから彼らは独自に組織のボスに対して報復しようと考えたの。
They were too impatient to wait for the final operation we were planning, so they decided on their own to get revenge on the boss of the organization. Revenge.
それを主導したのはタカ派で実権を握っていた森という男。彼は組織に家族を奪われたわ。
The one leading them is a man named Mori who holds the real power in the Hardliner faction. The organization took his family from him.
数年前に奥さんを殺され、去年は娘さんをゲームに参加させられて殺されたの。
They had his wife killed several years ago, and forced his daughter to participate in one of their games last year that resulted in her death. Soichi couldn't speak. He had a vague idea of what it meant to fight the organization.
その時の映像が自宅に送りつけられてきた時、彼は覚悟を決めたそうよ。組織のボスにも同じ気持ちを思い知らせてやろう。
When they sent footage of his daughter's death to his home, he came to a decision to make the boss of the organization feel the same pain as him. It's horrible. What had Mori felt when he had watched that footage? Just imagining it crushed Soichi's heart.
だから彼らはそれをゲームに紛れ込ませたのよ。
And that's why they slipped it into the game. It? For some reason, Fumika only used an indirect expression when saying that. When she answered Soichi's question, her eyes glanced for a brief moment behind Soichi. She was looking at Sakumi and Yuki, who was still in her arms. Sakumi? No, Yuki! Soichi's, Fumika's glance returned to Soichi's face. And she nodded with a serious look. There was no mistake, she'd been looking at Yuki. That can't be.
ボスに比べて、それのガードは甘かったらしいわ。捕らえるのにはさほど苦労はなかったようね。
Compared to the boss, it was apparently not, compared to the boss, it was not apparently well guarded. It seems they had little trouble capturing it. It seemed Yuki didn't realize that Soichi and Fumika were talking about her. As she was saying something trying to comfort Sakumi. But Sakumi seemed to picked up on the meaning of Soichi and Fumika's conversation, as she kept her head down while listening in on their conversation.
しかもその時、ゲームにもちょうどいい具合に欠員が出ていた。本来はね、ソイチ君、桜木結城という人物が参加するはずだった。
What's more, the game developed a vacancy at the perfect timing. You see, Soichi, Yuki Sakuragi was originally supposed to participate in this game.
けれどその子は少し前に事故で亡くなり、欠員が出た。
But she died in an accident shortly beforehand, creating a vacancy. What? Soichi was speechless.
彼らの最初の筋書きでは、宗一君にさくみちゃんを殺させ、その様子を桜木さんに見せるつもりだったらしいわ。
In their original script, it seemed they were going to make you kill Sakumi and have Sakuragi bear witness to it.
自分と同じ顔の女の子が宗一君に殺されるのを見たら、きっと桜木さんは宗一君を信じなくなる。
Once she saw you kill someone with the same face as her, she would lose trust in you.
彼らはそういう展開を狙っていたのよ。
That was the turn of events they were going for. So that's why Yuki's PDA was the 9. So that she'd have to kill all the participants, including me.
ねじ込むのは簡単だったそうよ。
So it didn't take much effort to force it in.
組織はもともと欠員の補充を考えていた。プロフィールを少しいじったらあっさりと成功したらしいわ。
The organization needed to fill in the vacancy anyway, so all it took was a little tampering for profile to make it happen, apparently.
それが誰なのかなんて幹部だってほとんど知らないんだもの。
Only a select few of the organization's top brass know who it really is. No one knew the face of the boss's daughter. That was caused by the organization's secretive nature. The only ones who knew were a few of the boss's close associates, and members of the Supreme Board of Directors at that. Just as Mori had planned, the organization, who wanted someone named Yuki to fill in the vacancy, were attracted by the new young girl named Yuki. It was unfortunate that Soichi's girlfriend had died, but having someone with the same name as her be his enemy also made for a decent turn of events.
そしてゲームの開始からしばらく経ってから、組織は運よくそれがそこにいることに気づいたわ。
Fortunately, after a little while after the game started, the organization noticed that it was there.
彼らは慌てた。そして何としても回収しようとした。これだけは森のごっさんだったわ。
They panicked. They tried to get it back by whatever means necessary. That's where Mori screwed up. Had the game continue without anyone noticing Yuki's existence, and she would eventually die just as Mori had planned. But by pure coincidence, one of the boss's close associates happened to be at the casino and noticed Yuki.
でも、一度ゲームが始まってしまえば、組織としてはゲームは止められない。
But once the game had started, the organization couldn't stop it.
カジノのお客は地位のある人間ばかりだから、信用問題もあるし、そんな不手際は教えられない。
The casino's customers are all people in high places, so there are trust issues involved. Hence why they can't afford to let them know about their screw-up.
すべては秘密裏に行われなければならなかった。
They have to do this all under the veil of secrecy. Displeasing the casino's customers would result in huge losses. Their customers were the cornerstone of Japanese politics and economy, so losing their trust would be a serious problem. That was why they had to recover Yuki in secret and take utmost care to ensure she didn't get a scratch on her. I see. So that's why Yuki's collar didn't activate. That's why they haven't been going all out on this. Because they couldn't afford to risk the possibility they'd hurt her. And that's why they've been forced to act in secret. When he realized that, Soichi couldn't keep calm. That's insane!
その通りよ。私たちもそう思った。だから私の任務が変わった。建物への工作からそれの保護に。
You're right. We think so too. That's why my mission has changed from tampering with the building to securing it. Securing? Why not just give it to them? Then Yuki would be back for her parents. There wouldn't be, for Yuki, that wouldn't put her in any bad position.
そうするのが、それにとっては一番いいのかもしれないわね。
That might indeed be best for it. Then why?
幸か不幸か、それがここにあるおかげで、この10年間どうしてもつかめなかった組織のボスの居場所が分かったのよ。
For good or for ill, because it is here, we finally know where the boss is after 10 years of fruitless searching.
今彼はここへ向かってる。これは千載一遇のチャンスなのよ、ソイチ君。
He's headed here right now. This is a 1 million chance, Soichi. Now that Yuki was here, the boss had finally shown himself after years of keeping his position well hidden. But if Yuki was recovered before he arrived here, then he might go back without coming here. Fumika's group was using the fact Yuki was here in order to draw the boss to this place. So in the end, you're going to use it too?
厳しいのね、ソイチ君。でもみんな、あなたのようにまっすぐには生きられない。
You sure are harsh, Soichi. Not everyone can live as honestly as you. I can't accept this. Soichi understood the circumstances. But due to his tight bond with Yuki, he couldn't accept it. Even though she talked about how her mother and father didn't get along, Yuki still smiled. He couldn't accept them trying to use someone like her.
宗一君、ここで私の仲間たちが何人死んだか想像できる？そして何人の民間人がここで殺し合いをさせられたか想像できる？
Soichi, can you imagine how many of my comrades have died here? And how many civilians have been forced to kill each other here? In contrast to the agitated Soichi, Fumika's voice was calm. Fumika had asked herself about the anger Soichi was feeling herself many times over. And so she continued speaking to persuade him.
私たちはそれを止められる。
We can put a stop to that.
きっかけややり方はまずいのかもしれないけど、これで死んでいく人を見殺しにしなくて済むと思えば、私はやるわ。
Maybe it didn't kick off under the best of circumstances, but if I have a chance to put an end to all this killing, I'm gonna take it. It hadn't been Ace's intention to bring Yuki here. But even so, by using her presence to their advantage, they could possibly settle everything once and for all.
私たちはテロリストなんだから。
Because we're terrorists. Fumika and her group were well aware that what they were doing was wrong. That was why they acknowledged themselves as terrorists. Hold on a second. Sorry, and that's why they resolved themselves from the beginning to do this, if it meant ending it once and for all. It's not the best solution. So that's it. Fumika's serious voice and glance finally made Soichi understand. It was wrong to use Yuki. But if they just hand her over, the game would keep on going. The best way would be to return Yuki and defeat the organization right here and now. But realistically speaking, that was virtually impossible. It wasn't just Yuki, there were many other things to do as well. Ace continued to fight while wrangling with these dilemmas. I won't help you for the sake of your mission. Soichi heaved a deep breath. It's not like I think there's no other choice. No, wait, sorry. It's not like I've fully accepted this. There's no other way. Fumika also understands that. And all I have to do is protect Yuki as I always have up to this point. Soichi embraced himself. When he did, he calmed down, and fierce willpower filled his face. Fumika gave a small smile when she saw that.
君はそう言ってくれると思ったから、宗一君に協力してくれって頼んでるのよ。
I asked for your help precisely because I thought you'd say that.
絶対に大丈夫だと私が信じてるのはあなたとさくみちゃん、そしてゆうきちゃんだけなんだもの。
Because you, Sakumi, and Yuki are the only ones I have absolute trust in. Though she traveled with other people as well, she felt those three were the only ones she could reveal the truth about herself to. Soichi can imagine how harsh her mission was. So what should we do?
とりあえず今ここで話したことは秘密にしてほしいの。
For now, I'd like to keep our little discussion a secret.
その上でこれまで通りにゲームに参加して私をフォローしてくれないかしら。
Apart from that, just play along with the games you have up till now and follow my lead. Can you do that?
私の仲間たちが組織のボスを捕まえてカジノを制圧し終わる時まで。
Until my comrades capture the boss and put the casino under control. When will that be?
わからないわ。もしかしたらゲームの終了後にも続くかもしれない。
I don't know. It might continue after the game is finished. Fumika decided to be completely honest. As a result, she ended up gaining gaining more of the group's trust. Just under one condition. On the whole, Soichi didn't have much of an objection to her proposal. But there was one thing still bothering him.
何かしら。
What is it? A twinge of anxiety flashed across Fumika's face. To her, it was a large problem that could determine whether or not she could that would influence whether she can gain collaborators or not. Karin's sister needs money for her treatment.
脅かさないでよ、宗一くん。
Don't scare me, Soichi. Fumika smiled, her concern about what Soichi was going to say fading away.
それで協力してもらえるなら、私たちは喜んでその額を払う。私はそのための権限を持っているの。
I'll gladly pay for it if he'll gain your cooperation. Hold on. We have that sort of authority. Then I'll help you out. Sakumi, Yuki, are you guys in? Soichi glanced behind him.
私も女スパイってことだよね。
Yeah, it means I got to be a lady spy too, right? Yuki responded energetically. Yuki didn't realize she was at the center of this entire incident. Naturally, Soichi didn't intend to tell her. It would be the truth would be too cruel for her to know.
剣さんがそうおっしゃるなら。
If that's what you say, then... Sakumi nodded and started crying again. Sakumi understood the circumstances. About Soichi, about Yuki, all of it. That was why she couldn't stop crying.
また泣いてるの？大丈夫？お姉ちゃん。
You're crying again? Are you okay, big sis? Yuki was worried about Sakumi. She gently rubbed Sakumi's back.
大丈夫ですから。
fine. I'm fine, Yuki. Yuki, worried about Sakumi, not knowing of her own misfortune. It was for that very reason why Sakumi couldn't stop crying. Hold on a second. Alright, saving, checking the bets. Alright, I'm gonna continue. I was considering stopping, but I think I'll try going on for a little bit longer. Fumika opened the door. She then swiftly checked the room while keeping a gun at the ready.
やっぱりいないか。
Just as I thought, they're not here. The room was devoid of furniture and people. Hazuki and the others aren't here yet. Soichi came over to Fumika from behind. Sakumi and Yuki were with him too, of course.
ええ、
Yes. Fumika nodded and beckoned to Soichi. I see. Somebody doesn't want the organization overhearing, huh? Soichi picked up on Fumika's intent and closed in, and she brought her mouth to his ear.
実はこっそり葉月のおじさまにつけておいた発信機の反応が上のフロアからあるの。おじさまたちは何かの理由で上に登ったんだわ。
Truth is, the transmitter secretly placed on Mr. Hazuki, is on the upper floor. Mr. Hazuki and the others went up for some reason. Transmitter? You have a transmitter on them? Then why did we come here? Soichi whispered to cover his mouth. And covered his mouth. You had to be careful of the cameras and mics around to avoid having Fumika's identity out in the open.
万が一ってこともあるでしょ。誰か残ってたら大変だもん。
Just to be safe. It would have been a big problem if someone was still here. I see.
宗一君はこのことをさくみちゃんたちにも伝えて。さりげなく私たちも上のフロアに行くから話を合わせてほしいの。
You go tell Sakumi and Yuki. We'll just casually go upstairs. So just explain them. Got it. Soichi nodded, left Fumika, and went over to Sakumi and Yuki, who were at the entrance.
さて。
Now then. Fumika watched Soichi off as she stood in the center of the room and looked around. Something must have happened. There's no doubt of that. I smell gunpowder, and those stains are probably blood. I see. So they attacked Mr. Hazuki and the others first so that we couldn't regroup with them. Due to all sorts of restrictions, Having Soichi's group regroup with Hazuki and the others will be very inconvenient for the organization. But due to Fumika's secret actions protecting Soichi and the others from last night to this morning, they hadn't managed to be able to attack Soichi and the others directly. So they'd driven away Hazuki and the others before they could get to them. By doing so, they didn't have to worry about Soichi's group being up with them. They failed at letting us meet up. Their miscalculation had been not considering that Fumika would attack them as they were returning to attack Soichi and the others. Fumika made good use of the devices her comrades had prepared and easily managed to take down the men.
となれば連中が増援を送ってくる前におじさまたちと合流するしかないわね。
Which means that we'll have to regroup with Mr. Hazuki and the others before they send reinforcements. Fumika! Hold on a second. When Fumika came to her conclusion, Soichi shouted at her from the entrance.
今行くわ。ねえみんな、おじさまたちが来るまでに少し上のフロアを偵察してこない？ただ待ってるのも時間の無駄だと思うのよ。
I'm coming. Hey guys, how about we check the upper floor for a bit before Mr. Hazuki and the others get here? I think it'll just be a waste of time this way around here. Fumika returned to the entrance as she spoke up to Soichi and the others loud enough so mics could pick it up. Sounds good. Let's do that. Okay.
行こう行こ
Let's get moving. Soichi and the others quickly agreed. And so the group quickly ascended to the 6th floor. There were people observing Soichi's group. There were two of the remaining the other three participants, Takayama and Tezuka. They kept their distance from them so that Soichi and the others didn't notice them, and kept track of their movements using software installed on their PDAs.
おやおや、連中6階へ上がっていくぜ。
Well, well, they went up to the 6th floor.
仲間と合流できなかったんだ。妥当な判断だ。
A wise decision since they couldn't regroup with their comrades. The blips on the PDA approached the stairwell and disappeared. Tezuka switched the map to the 6th floor and saw the blips appearing one after another there. Tezuka was using a software that displayed unremoved collars.
しかし連中もついに腹をくくったのかね。
They finally strengthened their resolve, huh?
窮鼠猫を噛むとも言うだろう。
As they say, a cornered rat bites back, right?
そうだな。だが見たところ、ありゃ素人の手口じゃないぜ。ネズミどころかライオンが混じってても俺は驚かないがね。
That's true. That's not an amateur's tactic, no matter how you look at it, right? I'd say they've got a lion mixed in amongst their rats. No, so it wouldn't surprise me if they had a lion mixed in amongst their rats. Tezuka's problem lay with the men that Fumika defeated on her own. Tezuka and Takayama hadn't seen the fight directly, so they didn't know how Soichi's group had defeated the men. But they figured out when they'd seen the tattered men.
立ち回り方を考えた方がいいか。手塚、お前の言う通りになったな。
They're acting smart too, huh? Tezuka, I think you're right.
あの小僧どもに手を出していたら今頃やられてたのは俺たちだったのかもしれねえな。
If we attacked those brats, then it may have been us who had gone maybe it would have been us who got wasted in the end. Tezuka's shoulder shivered as he laughed. Takayama, it looked as though Tezuka had found a new toy.
だが泡食ってるのは俺たちだけじゃねえはずだ。ここを作った連中は今頃大慌てだ。きっと誤算もいいところだろうぜ。
But it shouldn't be just us who are running around like headless chickens. The people who set this up are really panicking right now. They must have fucked up real bad.
お前のようなやつがここを作った連中の仲間にはいないんだろう。
I doubt someone like you has a comrade in those people who made this.
おいおい高山の旦那、そりゃあないぜ。俺ならもっとうまくやるよ。
Oh, Takayama, don't group me in with them. I can do even better.
だろうな。
Probably.
それにそれを言うなら、あんたならもっとうまくあの小僧どもを襲うだろう。
If you can say that, then you could probably do a better job attacking the brats, couldn't you?
まあな。
I suppose. Takayama nodded Tezuka's playful voice.
それでこれからのことだけどよ。
So, about our next move.
監視の継続だろう。
Continue observing?
ラブ&ピースってな。俺は争い事が嫌いなんだ。
Love and peace, eh? I hate fighting. Tezuka winked and smirked.
だが、面白い争い事は好きなんだろう。
But you seem to have a love for interesting fights.
いや、
Nope. Tezuka shook his head.
好きなんじゃなくて、生きがいなだけさ。
I don't have a liking for them. I live for them. Hold on a second. Okay, back.
お前は本当に騒動の申し子だよ。
You really are a child of strife. Takayama said that with a sigh.
なんで人を悪魔かなんかみたいに。
The hell, you make me sound like a demon.
お前が悪魔なら悪魔はみんな聖人君子だ。
If you're a demon, then actual demons are saints.
うわ、高山のおっさんでも冗談を言うんだな。
Oh, is that a joke I heard from you, Takayama?
冗談？
A joke? Takayama looked a bit taken aback for a second.
そうか、冗談か。
I see a joke, huh? Takayama started booming with laughter. It was a laugh straight from the bottom of his heart, something he'd never experienced up until now.
なんだ。どういう意味だよ、おっさん。
Hell? What do you mean, old man? Faced with the laughter from Takayama, Tezuka was uncharacteristically confused this time. Hold on a second. Alright, I think I'm gonna pick here to stop, because there was a lot of stuff in this chapter, and it's gonna be better if I took on the rest of it later on. So yeah, a lot of big revelations here, and now things are heating up as they try and regroup with their comrades. More of the men are around, and now we know what's truly at stake here. So we'll have to see how that goes at the end. So until next time, I will see you later.